Cinema Classics is brought to you by the Gateway Film Center, 1550 North High Street, Columbus, Ohio. Further details and showtimes online at gatewayfilmcenter.org.
The award-winning Cinema Classics is produced by John DeSando and Johnny DiLoretto. Listen to the shows and read reviews online at WCBE.org. I'm John DeSando.
I'm Johnny DiLoretto. This is Cinema Classics.
Yeah, boy.
And no other classic. That's a terrible opening. Let me try that again. Let's try that again.
All right. Well, on August 29th, 2016, one of the great film comedic...
So not so very long ago.
No, it isn't. One of the great film comedic actors died. Gene Wilder.
Gene Wilder.
Now, some people are going to remember Producers, Blazing Saddles.
A lot of people.
Right. Young Frankenstein.
And Stir Crazy.
Stir Crazy.
Willy Wonka.
Willy Wonka. And nothing else. Is that the Hanky Panky? I don't know.
Yeah, that's funny that you should say that. But you know what? His run of, well, let's see.
Or 70s, late 60s.
Well, he had a lot of good stuff in the 70s that people don't remember. The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes' younger brother, or something like that. What was that?
I have no idea.
How about Everything You Always Wanted to Know About Sex, but we're afraid to ask?
Jeez, where do you pull that out?
He's got one of the best, most memorable sequences in that movie, that Woody Allen movie. The Last of the Great Lovers. What is that? You know what I'm talking about?
I don't, because I don't know any of these films. I mean,
well, you should.
I can't, because, and that's my question to you.
Yeah.
You are short of adoring this guy. What is it besides his eyes and the fact that he's been in 5 movies where he's wrongfully accused of committing a crime?
Where did you get that? Stir Crazy? Is that?
Yeah, there are 5 of them.
Yeah, you know what? They had a good run, those guys. Those were all hits.
Silver Streak, Frisco Kid, Stir Crazy, Hanky Panky, and See No Evil, Hear No Evil.
Frisco Kid. That was with Harrison Ford.
I don't know.
Yeah, well, I'm telling you.
These are movies nobody's ever seen.
Oh, stop. Wow, I didn't expect this from you.
Anyway.
Listen, okay, I will tell you this. Here's my take on Gene Wilder. For somebody who's had a relatively, most people with that long of a career have put out 70-plus films. Right. Gene Wilder was not that prolific. Right. But what he did do was often great. I mean, who can say, you can point to some people who get a lot more. I would argue that, maybe this is changing right now, but I would argue that somebody like Brad Pitt has fewer great films than Gene Wilder.
I think that's a great, Roger Ebert, when he was alive, said that Producers was the funniest movie ever made. He loved it, and he loved Gene Wilder.
Yeah.
So I've got a lot of respect, except for the fact that he tried out for the Steve McQueen role in The Magnificent Seven.
He did?
Yes!
No, see, that's great. I love knowing that. I love knowing that because Gene Wilder set out to be an actor. He just set out to be an actor. So in the 60s, when he was coming up, I could see him trying to do something like, okay, he wants to do what every other actor does, right? He's going to go up for a part like that. He got his break in Bonnie and Clyde, playing The Undertaker.
Yeah.
Not an overtly comedic role. So what I think happens is you have a guy who wants to act, is a really fine actor, an interesting presence, a dynamic face, an extraordinarily expressive face, also something very soulful and sweet about Gene Wilder's face. And I think I wrote a piece recently for this local blog, Colin Gowell's Pencil Storm, Remembrance of Gene Wilder, and what I said about him was, essentially, I won't bore you with all the details. What I said essentially was, there are some performers, when you see them on screen, you instantly like them. When you look at Gene Wilder, you instantly want him to like you. He is this figure that you're like, he's so likable, that there's a transference that happens, I think, and you feel like you'd like him to be in your life, and you want him to know and like you. Yeah. And that is an extraordinarily rare quality. So what happens is, he gets this. He met Mel Brooks through Anne Bancroft. They were in a Bertolt Brecht play, and Mel Brooks came backstage to say what a good job he did, and that's how they became friends, essentially, and that launched him into this comedic career. So many, how many other actors do you think, like Kelsey Grammer? He's a guy that is clearly wants to be an actor. Like, he wants to play all the parts.
Right.
But he's clearly just funny in these comedic roles.
Yeah.
Right? He's just Michael Richards.
And both of those candidates, there's not a movie I can remember they were in. Not television,
right.
but a movie that I can
Right.
remember. And Wilder's been in 4 of the top 100
Right.
comedies in the history of film.
I know. I don't want to draw that comparison. I only draw that because I think Gene Wilder is out of their league in terms of greatness.
Well, but it does show how great he is.
But you're right. But what I'm saying is, there are certain faces, certain temperaments, and the way a star comes together. We've talked about what makes a star.
Yeah.
But this guy was a comedic star. That face, those eyes, that franticness, that humanity, it all adds up to a unique screen presence.
There are a couple of roles that immediately come to my mind. First of all, you talk about being likable. How could he make Victor Frankenstein's grandson or whatever likable?
Yeah.
And he makes him likable. I cannot believe that film.
Yeah.
And then Leo Bloom in The Producers.
Mm-hmm.
And these two guys pulling off one of the best scams in all of film history.
Yeah.
With Springtime for Hitler.
Yeah.
And he fits perfectly with Mel Brooks. And I remember, again, citing Roger Ebert, was in an elevator with Mel Brooks and
Anne Bancroft.
Anne Bancroft. And the lady comes in and says that his Blazing Saddles was vulgar.
Uh-huh.
And Brooks says back to her, yes, what, oh God, damn. Let me see, what is he? He says, yes, we rose below vulgarity. Anyway, but you can see where there's such a conjunction of the two.
Yeah.
Because Wilder it is, as you say, that face, those eyes. It is that vulnerability. It is that kind of boyish naughtiness that comes out perfectly.
Yeah, imagine somebody else in those Mel Brooks movies, and it tips, right?
Yes.
The balance tips. So yeah, they are vulgar. They are, on some levels, juvenile, but they're also sophisticated. But with somebody else, a different face, they tip over into something.
Oh yeah. No, he changes his name from Jerry Silberman to Gene Wilder because he loved Thornton Wilder's Our Town.
Oh,
he just liked the sound of Gene, but he said he couldn't see where a Jerry Silberman would play Hamlet.
But now, see, that's funny because now we can't think of a Gene Wilder playing Hamlet either. That's how distinct screen presence he evoked. I want to talk about Willy Wonka, obviously.
Yes, and which is, for those who haven't noticed it, it's our outro.
Yeah,
music.
It's been our music for a long time. I not only do I just personally love that performance, I think that is one of the all-time great performances in any movie, comedy, family film, otherwise. I think he is so brilliant in that part, and he's partly menacing, he's mysterious, he's charming, he's funny, he's avuncular, he's warm, he's sweet.
This is with kids.
And with kids, yeah. And there is a sweetness there, and again a charm, and you imagine, maybe that's where I get this notion. When I saw that as a kid, and I still watch that movie, and how deeply do you wish to be a part of that group, and how deeply do you wish that he would single you out as the special kid, right?
And how much you wish that he would be like your uncle.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Right.
Because he can be loving, and he can be tough, and that's what I so much love about that Willy Wonka. Is you're right. He's got several sides to him. Not either side being better than the other, but just so realistically.
Right. He's a high wire act of a performance. Yes. I don't think he gets enough credit for it. I think if you saw a performance like that in a different context, we'd say, oh, Brando. We'd say De Niro. We'd say,
how about Johnny Depp?
Oh yeah, God, come on.
I know. Well, there you go.
It's a mess.
All right.
It can't touch what he accomplished in that movie. It's incredibly memorable, and just to reiterate, I just think it
Well-
demands not only does it demand multiple viewings, Gene Wilder in that role rewards multiple viewings. I've seen it maybe 30, 50
Okay.
times, and I find something new in him every time.
And to give an idea of the scope of his talent, 4 films with Richard Pryor.
Yeah.
Doing 1 would put somebody in the grave. 4 at the
Yeah.
height of his drug taking.
Right.
This is really great. And he said that they were never friends outside because Pryor really didn't want it.
Yeah.
But there you go. There's a guy who has serious talent. He makes it work, and he made it work
Right.
for those.
I'd be curious to go revisit some of these movies that I haven't seen ever, or have only seen once when they first came out, like The Woman in Red. You know, isn't that with?
That's right.
Is that with Gilda Radner in it? Or
Oh,
is
that
she-
was his wife.
Yeah, is she in that?
She might
I
be.
don't remember.
I don't know.
But that's just an interesting side note, that their romance.
All right, Gene Wilder.
Yeah, an unforgettable American classic.